Pick a window. This is the Defenestrate Media Network.
Oh, wow. I don't know about the costume, but that's some set of wheels.
Hi, I'm Marv Wolfman, and you're listening to the world's greatest comic book podcast.
This is the world's greatest comic book podcast, as we so humbly call it. And I am your host, the radioactive professor of all things comic book, Joce Carter. Joining me today on the show are my amazing friends. In the north, our punk pixie, Miss Jocelyn Christensen. And on the bridge of his own private enterprise, our very own Admiral James Tiberius Batman, Laird Jeff Bell.
Hello, good day, salutations, etc.
Greetings and salutations to you all. Welcome to the show. You know, one of the things that didn't pop in because it happened a couple of weeks ago into our list that we normally talk about was Glenn Hansard passing away suddenly.
I know.
In a motorcycle crash. And my feed has been filled with all the tributes to Glenn Hansard all week long, my social media feed. Go figure, you know, Irish performer. That's going to be full of my social media feed, mostly because I also put up a thing saying how I was gutted by the fact that he passed so suddenly.
Right.
I got to tell you, all the stories people are telling, he was one hell of a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, what a legacy to leave. He was one of the nicest men ever. He never let any fame that he might have had, including winning the Oscar for Best Song from his movie Once. He never let any of that fame go to his head. This woman in Australia told a story about going to his concert that he did in Sydney, inviting him and the band to come to a party she was hosting. He showed up, stayed the entire night, spent a good chunk of the night trying to teach her how to play a song on the guitar. And then in the morning, in the morning he stood up and said, "I want to see the sunrise," and he left. And she was like, he was so gracious, so nice to everyone, wanted to meet everybody, was really excited by it. I'm like, that's the kind of guy, you know, if you go out, that's the kind of legacy you want to have, you know. He was just
Absolutely
one hell of a nice guy. And his funeral had Bono and The Edge had showed up for it. I mean, he used to host every New Year's Day, I think it was New Year's Eve. Every New Year's Eve, he would host a busking. That's all the guys that sit out on the street with a guitar case at their feet and you throw money in there. He'd host a busking thing where he'd bring all these performers in to busk, and all the money they raised in their guitar cases would go to the homeless of Dublin.
Wow.
And he did that every New Year's Eve. I think if it wasn't last New Year's Eve, it was New Year's Eve before he got Bono to come down and busk with him.
Wow.
And Liam O'Manley from Hot House Flowers, good friend of his, was always there busking with him because he believed in the same causes. So yeah, big deal. So yeah, fucking Eddie Vedder sang at his funeral.
Beautiful.
I'm like, I want to know what the connection is between Eddie and him, because I'm like, I didn't know they knew each other. That's really cool. So yeah,
There was he went to a concert and got invited backstage and met him, and they just became really fast friends.
Wow.
And ended up doing a couple of songs together.
I feel like they have about the same kind of temperament about things too. The same kind of attitude about things, you know. Yeah. They're very chill individuals. So
yeah, I'm getting a lot of that in my social medias too, and I've really enjoyed it because it beats the hell out of Isabel and Simon Sitt, who has passed away now.
yeah.
And like that most recent video was her getting his ashes back, which was really quick. and then have her weep. And then Olivia Rodrigo invited Isabel and her husband to a secret concert.
Aw.
That just happened to happen the same day they got Simon's ashes back. So,
Oh, well.
yeah. So those are the two things in my feed as well. So it's been very sad on social media this week. So I've been reading instead.
But it beats the hell out of some of the things I get is on the political side. So
That's fair.
I'm like, I'd rather, even though he passed, I'd rather read about one hell of a nice guy than to read all the MAGA bullshit that gets thrown into my Threads feed all the time too. So, cool. How about you guys? How was your awesome week?
I saw a bear in Yellowstone. I took Mini-Me to Yellowstone for we realized this is the last summer that they're a kid.
Yeah.
They're starting senior year. So we decided to take a little trip. So yeah, road tripped up to Yellowstone, had a great time. Saw a bear. It was awesome.
Saw a bear? How close was Mr. Bear?
Closer than he should have been, but that wasn't on us because we were at a lookout over a waterfall, and he came just trundling by. He was probably one bus length away from us. So
wow,
black bear, brown bear,
black bear. He was a black bear, and we couldn't quite tell if he was fully grown or not. So then the worry was, is Mama coming behind him, and going to be mad? So
it is the skinny season for bears.
It is skinny season. So, but we just, when he was safely off the trail, we just beelined it back to the car and called that good. So, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Nothing like a bear just showing up.
Yeah. Had the bear spray on hand though. Everybody was safe. So yeah, but it was a good week. It was a good week away, and didn't have cell service a lot in the park, which I don't know why I expected to, but I did. I did. I just figured it's such a popular place. They would have cell service all throughout that park by now, but
they'd have to put
you're
up
probably
towers.
used to going up our canyons, because our canyons all have ski resorts at the top.
Yeah.
So cell service is all the way down the canyon.
Right.
I mean, really good cell service because they have like the best towers up on top of the ski resorts.
Yep. Yeah. So, but yeah. No. How about you, Jeff? Anything remarkable to note?
No, not really. It's more of the same. We did an episode of I Told You So this week.
Yay.
We're about to alter the format a little bit.
Okay.
People are interested in conflict, and Tiffany and I don't really fight. We don't really have conflict.
That's not a terrible thing.
No, it's fucking great. But what it comes down to is it's like we find these articles or scientific, research studies on building better relationships and conflict. And it's like, here's stuff that happens. And we're like, we don't do that. Like we don't yell across the house very often unless somebody's in peril. If you need somebody's attention, and they're far away, you send them a quick text. We really, really limit raising our voices here. And because we both have been in yelly relationships, we don't care for it.
Right.
Well, yeah, we're gonna shift from relationship advice to life, because when we get to life, we have much conflict. There are many weird things happening.
I read an interesting piece of relationship advice this morning on The Art of Manliness. Because Brett McKay, he was saying, he's like you. He says, my wife and I really don't have the fights or the problems that most couples have, and they just hit their 15th anniversary, and they're like, once you hit 10 or 15, people start asking you, well, how have you made your marriage last? And he said, the one thing we do to resolve conflict is it doesn't become us, me versus her versus me. It's us versus the problem. Which I'm like, wow, that's the most healthy damn thing I've ever read.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
He said even when we had our kids were babies, it wasn't, you got to get up with the baby. You got to get up with the baby. Well, I need this much sleep. Well, I got to do this. It was them versus the baby, basically. How do we make this baby sleep?
Diamond tap.
Yeah.
Do not do diamond tap.
Too late.
I was going to say, could cause problems later on. Oh. Yeah.
Lord.
Could happen.
Dimetapp doesn't have alcohol in it. It just makes them sleepy.
I know.
It's perfect for road trips.
Yeah, it is. So it's just putting them in the damn car. That was our kids. You put them in their car seat, and within a mile, they were snoozing. So,
Oh, lucky fucker.
yeah. Worked out well for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
got chill kids because of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Let's do some comic book news.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
The Deadman marks the latest DC work for acclaimed Ice Cream Man creative team of writer W. Maxwell Prince and artist Martin Morazzo. Colorist is Chris O'Halloran. And the letterer is not named. Good old Neon? I don't know. Anyway, it was going to be a miniseries of 6, as I recall.
Yep.
And they have
That was the plan.
expanded it out with a plan for 12.
Wow.
Deadman is an incredible character that I am actually very fond of. And so it's important when cool shit like this happens that we support it by buying the comic.
Yes. I have many thoughts on Deadman. I am reading it, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I wondered why DC didn't bother to make it one of its first Vertigo titles, because that was how DC's Vertigo started in the 90s, was by taking books they already had and moving them into Vertigo, like Sandman, Hellblazer, and Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Shade the Changing Man and Animal Man all got moved over there as well. And Deadman is this new DC stuff that they're doing. This, I don't remember what it's called exactly, but it's like the new thing. And I remember Young Animals with Doom Patrol and that, and that had a very Vertigo feel. And I'm like, why don't you just bring back Vertigo? What's this new Animals shit that you're doing? Because this is really good. And this same thing with Deadman. I'm like, this should have gone to Vertigo, because I've been reading it and I'm like, this is more of a Vertigo book than some of the Vertigo books you put out. And I said that about Absolute Martian Manhunter, but I'm like, of course that's going to be in the Absolute line because it has Absolute in front of it. So, but I mean, it's just when I have a weird twisted book, to me that means Vertigo, you know? Yeah.
30 years ago last week, Nightwing got his own series.
Woohoo!
Wow.
It's kind of nuts that it's that new. But yeah. He branched out, became Nightwing. Ever since, Dick has been proving that he's just as capable a hero as Batman.
Actually, it's
in some
Nabisco's
cases
fault.
has surpassed him.
Yeah, it's Nabisco's fault.
All right.
So, it's actually and Nancy Reagan. So Nancy Reagan was doing her Just Say No campaign, and she went to all these companies, and it was Hostess wanted to release a Teen Titans comic book that was a Just Say No to Drugs that was written just for kids, because New Teen Titans was a very popular book, right? Hugely popular in the 80s. And but they couldn't put Robin in because it was Hostess, and Nabisco owned the rights to run anything Batman and Robin. And so they had to push Wolfman, who was already pushing him away from being Robin, to creating Nightwing, and for them to create a new Robin so they could so that Nabisco could continue to put out Batman and Robin stuff. I thought that was the funniest. I saw that on something recently. I was like, that's the funniest damn thing I ever heard, was that it was all copyright, trademarks, and marketing pushes that, and Nancy Reagan that created Nightwing effectively.
Wow.
Fun little trivia there.
Marvel is celebrating 60 years of Mary Jane Watson with a new title called Face It, Tiger.
Okay.
All right, this loaded the mobile on my thing, but there probably isn't a Marvel fan alive who doesn't know who Mary Jane is. First teased in Amazing Spider-Man 25 by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. She's been in the comic book pages with her famous "Face It, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot." Especially when what's his name, Campbell, draws her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
well, they went from Ditko, and she'd always be like in the room with Aunt May and her aunt, and they always would hide her face with a plant or something, or some strategic way to hide her face so you never saw it. And by the time they got to Spider-Man 42, John Romita had taken over as the artist, and he had been drawing romance comics up until then. So he always drew beautiful women, always having the emotional moments and everything. And so when she shows up and we see her face for the first time, it was like, oh, wow. Thank you, John Romita.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anyway, the book has 4 stories. Four separate stories in it. And the truth is, it looks really good. It really does. What else have we got? Oh, Diamond. Diamond and the Consignment Group have reached a settlement after months of negotiation. The Diamond Bankruptcy Estate and the Consignment Group have reached a settlement that will allow publishers to get their shit back. Publishers in the Consignment Group will waive their interests in a bit more than $600,000 to the estate to retrieve their goods from the Olive Branch warehouse. Publishers not in the Consignment Group can still take advantage of the settlement, though it's a little bit vague how. This is good news.
If you weren't in the lawsuit against SparklePop, ad populum is what they tried to call themselves when they took over Diamond. It's going to be hard for you to get in there now, but I imagine you could.
Well, you've got a legal precedent now.
Yeah.
So it might be a little easier. Probably not easy, but easier to get your shit back.
Well, the fact is, we already said this when it first happened. SparklePop basically broke the agreement that the publishers had with Diamond that said, these consignment books are here so that retailers can order them. And SparklePop was like, we're just going to sell them to whoever wants them. We don't care. And all of a sudden it was like, everybody was like, we want our money back. We want our books back, or we want the money back that we would have gotten from the consignment.
But, raring to a close. It is a new era.
Yep.
We'll see how it works out. But that is it for the news.
All right. Well, let's talk about what we have been reading this week. Joce?
So I read Odin number 3, and this series is making me viscerally uncomfortable. Like, it is so ew. It is, but I'm gonna keep reading it because it is like a train wreck I can't look away from. I don't know what else to say without spoiling it. Finished up Wonder Woman number 34. It looks like Tom King has finished his run. And wow. If you didn't read this as he started it and went all the way through, watch for all of these to come out in trades, because it was a great run. It was so good. Just the creation and the way that everything tied together in the end was amazing. And then did read Wonder Woman 35 with Stephanie Williams writing with Clayton Henry. And Steve is retelling Wonder Woman's origin. So, it's a clear reboot, and that's what happens, and I love it. So we'll see what happens there. And then last thing that I read was Daredevil number 4. And, Matt's in some trouble and being saved by criminals. So that's an interesting little twist going on there. How about you, Jeff? What'd you read this week?
I read a couple more Dresden books. Number 5, Death Masks. Number 6, Blood Rights. The war against the Red Court continues. I'm enjoying the rereads quite a bit. I remember them, but there's so much that I didn't remember. And then since I'm reading stuff I've already bought, years ago, reading The Brothers K by David James Duncan, one of the, I think, most amazing American novelists. Also wrote The River Why, River Teeth, My Life is Defined by Water. He does a lot of activist work on rivers and salmon runs, and he's a very dynamic guy, and his writing it's fucking poetry. I mean, it's just so wonderful the way that he's descriptive. You know, he's really got a way with words. So I've been reading that one. But yeah, I've been looking at the comic book shelves, and I've got some trades I have that are still wrapped in plastic, you know? So, yeah. I'm going to when I get done with The Brothers K, I think I'm going to flip back over to comics for a little while and pick up on some of these trades that I bought and haven't read yet. So that's
Brothers
me.
K, is that a take on the Brothers Karamazov, or
not at all?
Not at all. Okay.
Nope.
When I saw the Brothers K, I'm like, are you just not wanting to write Karamazov?
That would also be true, but that is not what.
Yeah. Let's see. This week we had Deadman number 3. Deadman goes into hell, and we get this just amazing depiction of hell and the artwork of it. Going down into hell. Apparently, this is a hell where there's still a Lucifer, so not a lot of continuity in DC, apparently. But oh my God, what an amazing story! As he and his young protege travel into hell and then come back out, and I was like, this is Dante's Inferno. It's its own unique take on things. It's got, of course, there's always a Buddhist kind of, or a Hindu and a Buddhist kind of aspect to it, because Ramakrishna is the one that brought him back. So he's got this whole outlook on, you know, it's almost a yogic kind of thing. If you're into yoga, you know, or studied any yoga like I have, you'd get into this. This has got some fun little moments in it that it's like, oh, there's some Hindu spiritualism right there I just read. That's pretty cool. So yeah, really loving Deadman. Chachu, number 1, by Iman Vellani.
Yay!
Our own Ms. Marvel.
Hey.
I did not expect this kind of book. I'm going to tell you that. And I apologize to Iman Vellani for underestimating her, because this takes place in 1979, and a girl who's really brilliant and a pretty good detective has hunted down her uncle, who's also a detective, and they get caught up in a caper. That's really the plot of the story. But, I mean, just amazing artwork by Mariana Ignazi. Takes place in Los Angeles. She captures, like, she finds him at sunset, at golden hour. And there is something about the color of the sky in LA at sunset, that orange color that happens, you know, as the sun goes down and as night starts to fall. And she captures that color so perfectly. I could probably give it also to Jordi Belair, who would have done the coloring. But it's just so beautifully captured. Everything about it feels like Los Angeles. I mean, it just has such a LA feel, and I was like, this is really cool. So well done on Chachu. Highly recommend picking it up if you can find it. Batman number 12, we introduce Verity Pennyworth.
Mm-hmm.
So Bruce has been haunted by the ghost of Alfred for 12 issues now. And finally, they got to bring in Verity. He's like, no, I made arrangements for you. The ghost is telling him, I made arrangements for you. They were in the paperwork. He goes, it's on my desk. I didn't want to read it because it would meant that you were really gone. I was like, I get that. Oh man, I understand that one. So then Verity, she basically, we'll just say she proves her worth to Bruce and Damian by the end of it, to the point where they both look at each other and look at her, and they're like, you can stay. Was that cool? And then finally, Iron Man number 8, Whiplash returns. So we get the Russian Whiplash, who seems to have bulked up a lot. And then a very special guest, a surprise appearance at the end by another guy that used to carry the whips. So I was like, this is interesting. I want to see how this came about, how this happened. As always, death is but an inconvenience in the Marvel Universe. But that is what I have read. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to give our picks of the week and pick of the future.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
In a world where MAGA is banning and burning books, it is a revolutionary act to read. It's Monday in America is a bold collection from the Left Show's J.M. Bell about politics, family, aging, and the uncomfortable truths we keep avoiding. No talking points, just real life in a divided country. Order your copy of It's Monday in America today for just $14.99 at mondayinamerica.com. If you're looking to feel hopeful or inspired, or if you're just frustrated and unsure about where we're headed, this book provides a unique look at the life of a Gen X liberal, the challenges and victories, and the question, what kind of world have we built for our children? It's Monday in America. $14.99 at mondayinamerica.com. It's Monday in America. Better to die on your feet than live on your knees.
Hey, this is Elena Huffman, Abaddon on Supernatural, and you are listening to the world's greatest comic book podcast.
All right, Joce, what are you looking forward to this week?
Oh, from DC Comics, his Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons. It's the Absolute Edition, and it just looks beautiful. It just looks beautiful. This is Kelly Sue with artist Phil Jimenez, Gene Ha, and Nicola Scott. Delivering the mythic epic of war, sisterhood, and the birth of one of DC's greatest icons. It was a great run anyway, and this looks so pretty. It is $100, but it looks so pretty. And then from Marvel Comics, Queen in Black Thor #1. As Beta Ray Bill battles Hela at the edge of space, he considers his role as the heir of Thor's story, little dreaming that the story continues with Sigurd Jarlsson, or that the Death Goddess has plans for the mortal Thor. Somewhere in the city, a man with a hammer is about to face the ultimate test. So, continuing that Thor storyline, and it's just been fun. So I'm gonna pick it up. How about you, Jeff?
Nothing from DC. Just nothing jumped out at me. Everything seems to be in current continuity for stuff I haven't read. But Marvel's re-releasing Volume 1 of Thor by Jason Aaron, and that's the God Butcher, God Bomb story. Plus a couple of spares, and I still think it is one of the best introductory volumes because of Asad Rivic's art and Jason Aaron's writing. That it took over a couple of Batman titles for me on stuff that I would, like Long Halloween, that I would give to people and be like, this is a really good one. Start here. And Thor has turned into that for me as well. So it's nice that they're re-releasing it because it went out of print about 2 years ago and got impossible to fucking find. And now here it is back.
Nice.
So that's me for mainstream. How about you, sir?
Mainstream-wise, we have Wolverine #25. I think this is coming to the conclusion, I hope it is, of the whole thing with Wolverine not having his healing factor, one set of claws shattered. And basically he's got to fight the monster that has just shown up from the doctor that was stealing all of his powers, and he's turned himself into a monster with that. Because, of course, that's what you do, right? It's exactly what you do. I'm looking forward to that one, and it's a number 25, so that's always a big deal. They're doing an alt cover to look like the original, the first Wolverine number 25, from Volume 1 with the cover that had the slash, and then Wolverine was coming. You could see Wolverine through it. I always like that one. I also had Wonder Woman Historia for the Absolute Edition. What I want to see is that they fixed the problem they had when they did the trade for it. Nicholas Scott had drawn Hercules and put him in the middle of a 2-page spread, and when they put out the trade, of course he got stuck down in the gutters. I'm like, just plan for the gutters. That's all. Just have the printer tell you how deep the gutter needs to be. And then you can fix it. I was just having that conversation with my publisher because we have a 2-page spread in Shaolin Nun number 6. So when you read it digitally in Shaolin Nun number 6, put up a 2-page. Put it up as 2-page to read with the cover, with separate covers. So the cover is a single page, and then everything else is double page, and you'll get to see the 2-page spread the way it's meant to look. It's pretty cool. But I was like, I hope this is fixed in here. And if I can open the package when it comes, and for the Absolute Edition, I don't know if I will. It'll probably be sealed in thick plastic.
Right.
But I'd love to know that they fixed the problem, because that would be the number one thing to fix to me. Let's see. We had. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. And okay, so indie-wise, this is from our friends at Massive Publishing, Marvel Cooking with Wolverine. Wolverine has seen it all and tasted it all too, from Canada to Japan. The man has been to every under-the-radar, locals-only restaurant, diner, and truck stop around the world with about 200 years of experience. He also has picked up some pretty handy techniques to prepare and store his food, from next-level knife skills, just don't use your own claws, folks, to creative canning tips. He's jotted down everything he knows with a little color commentary to boot. And I'm like, this looks like fun. This was made in partnership with Marvel. It's full of recipes that evoke some of Logan's most memorable adventures, including some iconic team-ups with friends and a few reluctant allies. And his first chefs of all stripes. And I'm like, I love cooking. I love a cookbook. So I want to see that. And then from Clover Press, this is a big deal. The greatest Nightwing comic book, Nightwing number 87, when it comes to art, is getting released in what they call a Wingspan edition. So they're taking Nightwing number 87, and they're going to put it out as one long, continuous accordion-style 22-page story, because that's what it was meant to be. Because what had happened was you would open up the spread, and over the 2-page spread, you would have Nightwing. You'd follow him as he ran across the panel to get Haley back, his dog. Now they're doing it as a 22-page story that is all one sheet of paper that's accordion folded. So it's going to be about 159 inches long, and you can basically experience the issue as it was originally conceived. And I am here for that. It's my birthday next weekend, so if somebody wanted to spend $44.99 on me and pick me up the Nightwing number 87, I would not say no. I would be very happy about that. This is, like I said, Nightwing number 87 to me is still one of the best examples of what you can do with comic book art that you can't do with television or movies. And this was the one that I was like, oh my God, Wingspan, I want to see this. Jeff's friend Everett, who worked for Pixar, he told us about how his office had the fight between Wolverine and Scarlet or Silver Samurai from the X-Men, drawn by Paul Smith, on his walls. And I was like, when I saw that, when I read Nightwing 87, I'm like, this is what I would want on my walls of my studio. It's so cool, such a great idea. Anyway, that is what I am looking forward to this week. What is your indie picks, Mr. Jeff?
Well, taking a moment of personal privilege, I also like comic or cookbooks that tie into things that I've read. And the weirdest one was called Lobscouse and Spotted Dog. This is based in Patrick O'Brien's Aubrey and Martin series, the Master and Commander stuff that I just fucking love. and I bought the cookbook and was like, I'm going to try some of these recipes. You can't buy half of the ingredients in the United States. You know? And a lot of this was desperation meals they made with just shit they had left while they were caught in the doldrums and needed food. And so it's a cookbook I can't cook out of. So Lob's Goose and Spotted Dog, Drowned Baby, Sea Pie, Solomon Gundy, all that kind of stuff, and it's just like, oh, well, I can't buy that here. I can't buy lung. We don't eat that in America.
We don't. They actually have to take it out of haggis when they sell it in America.
Yep. What have I got? Image. Yumi is coming out.
Yep.
This week. And so if you have
XXX.
If you haven't decided to buy that, now is the time. That's our buddy Doug Wagner. The other one is, I'm going to say this wrong because it's quite French. Gastronomique.
Good job.
Gastronomique. Yeah, this comes out from Boom. It's let's see. Tare the cannibal may be compelled to eat, but Lady Charlotte, codenamed the Python, is a cold-blooded spy compelled to hunt. A visceral game of cat and mouse begins as Lady Charlotte hunts down the elusive cannibal stalking the streets of France during the Revolution. She'll stop at nothing to pursue her prey. Okay. French Revolution area cannibal hunting? That's right there. That's what I want.
Sign me up.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's Marguerite Bennett, Helena Marcellus, doing the art and the covers, and it just looks beautiful and weird, and I'm here for it. What about you, Jocelyn?
From IDW 7 Wives number 3, this is the final issue of this series, and it's been incredibly close to home, maybe? I don't know. But the detectives Aguilar and Hallwell continue to interrogate the many wives of murdered cult leader Matthew Dunn. They're sure one of his celestial brides is guilty of killing the corrupt divine leader. It feels like what I know of the FLDS Church and how an investigation would go. That's the only thing I can say about it. So that's been great. And then the Foundry number 1 from Dark Horse Comics. Meet the Queen's own secret agency that investigates the paranormal and mysterious. Characters from Witchfinder and the British Paranormal Society join together in this adventure series where they travel the world over seeking out supernatural powered technologies and the stories of the civilizations that harness them for good and for evil. It's from Hellboy Universe writer Chris Robertson and fan favorite artist Christopher Mitten. And it just sounds fun. It's a 4-issue series. Sounds like a fun little romp into the supernatural.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's hop in the TARDIS. We're going to head to October and give our picks of the future. All right, Joss, what are you looking forward to this October?
From Dark Horse Comics, the in-store date being October 7th is Kill All Immortals 3, number 1. This is the continuing story of the Asvalds, once a billionaire Viking family with the secret to immortality, until their only daughter, Frey Asvald, led a rebellion against their barbaric father. Now with their family splintered and wounded, they find a daunting world of rival immortals seeking their demise at every turn. As Frey takes on her most deadly adversaries yet, she must finally decide what is most important, her freedom from war or her Viking vengeance. This has been a great series. I just love it. I'm going to pick up this third, story arc. How about you, Jeff?
There you go.
Pick of the future.
Pick of the future coming from Titan Comics. Edgar Allan Poe, A Tale of Mystery and Intervention. A darkly playful walk through the mind of Edgar Allan Poe, where humor, dread, and beauty collide this Halloween. I'm on board with Poe. I dig Poe. So this looks like a lot of fun. And there's theater involved. So we'll give it a shot.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you got?
For me this week, this month, we're looking at, from Marvel Comics, Wolverine Paradise, number 1 of 5 by Dan Panosian. Writing and drawing it. So Dan Panosian taking the whole thing on. Escape into danger. Logan steps away from the X-Men, but awaiting under the glitz and glamour of Miami is a simmering criminal underworld and a crucible that will bring out the warrior, the mutant, and the Wolverine. Writer-artist Dan Panosian takes the reins of Wolverine, steering him into an all-new, can't-miss, auteur-driven adventure where paradise ain't exactly what you'd expect, along with guest star Dazzler.
Okay.
The Saladin Ahmed series seems to be done in September. It seems to be the end of the Wolverine, his run on Wolverine. So the only Wolverine we'll have will be Wolverine Paradise. So I'm like, all right, sign me up. I'll take it. I'll start reading it. I always buy the limiteds anyway. I got a drawer full of Wolverine, and by drawer I mean a long filing cabinet drawer full of Wolverine, and I buy all of the individual limited series. I always have, and I'm like, I don't know that any of them are worth anything, but I got them if you're ever interested in buying them. And that is what I am grabbing in October. Sorry, it is August. I keep doing that. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're heading to Tinseltown, and you will finally get our Spider-Man Brand New Day spoiler-free review.
My name is Peter Davison. I played the Fifth Doctor, and you're listening to the world's greatest comic book podcast.
Hey folks, Jeff here. So, you want to start a podcast? Maybe you already did and it's just not going the way you thought it would. Well, here's the truth. It's not about the mic, it's not about the software, and it's definitely not just about posting episodes. It's about building a show that people care about. That's why I created the Defenestrate Media Podcast Academy. It isn't theory and it isn't fluff. It's a step-by-step breakdown of what actually works. Choosing a name, choosing a topic, building your structure, growing an audience, trying to turn your podcast into a brand, and maybe even a business. If you're serious about podcasting, this is a good place to start. And if you're just tired of guessing, this is how you stop. Check out the Defenestrate Media Podcast Academy and build something worth listening to. You can find more information at thecomicbookpodcast.com.
Hi, this is Kevin Eastman, co-creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you're listening to me on the world's greatest comic book podcast. Wah, wah, wah!
All right, let's talk about what we've been watching out of Tinseltown this week that wasn't Spider-Man Brand New Day, and probably have to hold Strange New Worlds as well, right, to the end. So let's get, and probably Ted Lasso?
I have not yet watched the new Ted Lasso.
Okay, so we'll just get going here. Jeff, start us off. Or sorry, Joce, start us off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So continuing so I am being educated in Star Trek, as evidenced by that I also watched Strange New Worlds, but in return, I am educating about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we made it to Infinity War. And it was, I have only watched this one like maybe 3-4 times total because it is a gut punch every single time still. It is a gut punch and I can't handle it. But yeah, looking forward to Doomsday, and as part of that, Endgame is re-releasing in theaters in September. So
with retcons.
With retcons, yes, with retcons. So the goal is we just have 2 more movies to get through, and they're easy ones because it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Captain Marvel, and then we'll be ready to see that in theaters. I'm excited.
I'm lost in the timeline. Have you done Eternals yet?
No, we're not to Eternals yet. Eternals is after,
After It's after Endgame.
After Endgame.
I'm interested to see how Special Friend likes Eternals.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
Or Quantum Mania, for that matter.
True.
Ooh, yeah, those were rough. You know, I remember when I saw Infinity War, it was the first year of Wasatch Comic-Con. I went by myself that afternoon to see it, and then had to get out of there. Like, I was like, hurry up, credits, hurry up, give me the closing credit scene, hurry up, motherfucker, hurry up, because I had a panel right after. It was the only time we did panels at Wasatch Comic-Con, and I go running out to the panel, and I remember I passed Jeff. I'm running to a panel, but I just saw Avengers: Infinity War, and Jeff's like, "Oh, do you need a hug?" I'm like, "Yeah," but I got to get to my panel.
Yeah, I told Special Friend I remember seeing it in theaters opening weekend, and I had never been in a theater that was so quiet when the movie ended. Like, nobody said a word. We were all so stunned at what happened.
Yep.
So
shocking.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the only thing that I watched that you guys probably didn't. So how about you, Jeff?
Okay, so I love Sam Elliott.
Yeah,
I love to listen to him talk.
Love Sam Elliott.
I would love for him to narrate anything I wrote. Just, I choose him over Morgan Freeman because I dig the guy's voice. So Braxton on Gen X last week brought up this movie called The Man Who Shot Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, starring Sam Elliott. And I'm like, this sounds terrible. And he's like, it is, but it's good. And it's basically the story of this battle-scarred veteran late in his life. He's alone, he's lonely. He's estranged from his last surviving member of the family. And he's still a badass in an old man kind of way. Like there's a carjacking scene that hops up and then he just kicks all three of their asses really quick. And it was mostly believable. But so they go through flashbacks of him building up to shooting Hitler. And that's like 3/5 of the movie, and you finally get it. And then all of a sudden, what's his name? Ron Livingston and that guy from The Daily Show who helped to ruin the M. Night Shyamalan Airbender movie. Anyway, whose name I just can't remember. And so I was stalling to see if it would pop up, and it is not.
Asif Mandi.
That's it, Asif Mamvi. And they show up and they're like, so it turns out there's a plague, the worst plague of all time. The host is Bigfoot, and you're the only person in the world who's immune to the plague for reasons not at all explained. So would you mind going to Canada and killing Bigfoot so we don't have to nuke Canada? And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And then he ends up doing it. And then all of a sudden you're on a hunt for Bigfoot in this fucking movie. And I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. This is the silliest goddamn thing I ever saw. But I was locked in, And so we go through all the Bigfoot stuff, and then he comes back, and he and his brother end up. It was just like 3 movies, 2 of them pretty good, 1 of them fucking ridiculous, all squished together. And I'm just like, Sam Elliott had a car payment or something, because we just watched Roadhouse, both Roadhouses a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And when Sam Elliott pulled his hair back into a ponytail, I literally heard Tiffany go, oh. I was like, really? Really? Sam Elliott? She's like, yeah, with that salt and pepper? Yeah. And I'm like, good for me.
Good for you. Let your hair grow.
Yep. Okay. And then the surprise fun one is I just could not. I got math this semester, right? And that's bad because I'm numerically illiterate. I look at numbers and especially equations, and they just turn into dancing gibberish. I don't know what it is, but so I've really been struggling this week. I've had a really rough fucking week because it's been 2 to 3 hours of math a day, and I just don't fucking get it. So I'm like, I should throw just something silly on, could play in the background. Stewart Fails to Save the Universe. is a spin-off of The Big Bang Theory, but
Right.
different. Apparently, the three main characters, because I don't really watch Big Bang Theory, built a quantum entanglement machine and turned it on, and now everything's fucked up. And Stewart has to save the universe. He is bouncing from universe to multiverse to multiverse to multiverse. There's only 3 episodes out right now. It's Chuck Lorre, and I think for the first time, it's not a 3-camera setup. It's a 1-camera setup. Yeah, and it is so fucking fun. Like, I stopped doing math and watched that, and then did not go on to episode 2 because I still had math homework to do. And then the minute it was done, I went back to it. I'm even watching the goddamn, which I would love to get one, but I hate them otherwise. But the goddamn official podcast, and it's Will Wheaton and Felicia Day. I'm even watching the follow-up podcast, which I got to admit, Will Wheaton and his goddamn sunny demeanor have kind of turned me off because he's so fucking positive all the time. Have a bad day, Will Wheaton.
Well, he had all of his bad days in his youth. He chooses positivity. That's his thing.
Yeah, I'm allergic to that. So
yeah, I know.
if you've got the ability, just give the first episode a shot. You don't have to know Big Bang Theory very well, because we all know it a little bit because it's all just kind of sprinkled in our social media and stuff. And the main characters of that really aren't in this show. It's just fucking funny. It is an existential romp through making fun of multiverse stuff and geek culture, and it's very reverent about it as well. So they start out in an apocalypse, then they go to AI, then they go to magic is real in this universe, and that's the funniest fucking one so far. So Stewart fails to save the universe. Theme song by Danny Elfman. They change the opening credits every week so that you have to watch them because they're fucking great. Because I don't know if you've ever watched a Chuck Lorre show. At the end of them, he puts up a vanity card that's usually got some kind of joke, and you have to hit pause really fast so you can read it.
Yep.
And he's like, nobody reads those anyway, so I stuck it in the front. And it's great. And then, Strange New Worlds and Ted Lasso. So what do you got, buddy?
Just a little bit more on Stewart. Stewart is the owner of the comic book shop they all went to in Big Bang Theory. But which is funnier to me. It's just even funnier to me that the comic book shop guy has to save the universe. And I like the Stewart is the Nexus being who is the same in all universes. So,
And it's great. Brian Posehn is in it. The guy who plays Stewart, the guy who plays Kripke, I can't remember the name. I had it up and I apparently shut it down. So I was going to go, but it's fucking funny. It's a lot of fun.
So apart from the common ones, the only other one I've watched this week was the latest episode of Trying. They, in season 4, I think, season 4, they aged up the kids to teenagers. And I was like, oh, okay. And so now all the relationships are built. So we get to see the relationships that have been built bear fruit, basically. And the relationship between Princess and Grandpa is probably my favorite relationship now. And this last episode really sparked that one a lot. Everything about it's just been delightful. So just enjoy the hell out of this show. And it drops new episodes on the same night as Ted Lasso. So basically I get 2 British shows in a row. It's like when I was a kid and I'd watch, 10 o'clock on KUED, I'd watch a British comedy and then Doctor Who, so I'm getting the same kind of stuff. And Ted Lasso, let's start with him. Man, I wanted that to be, I wanted 2 episodes. That was really all I wanted.
Yeah, same. Got to the end and was like, I can't believe I got to wait a week.
Yeah, I got to wait a week to see all these other people that I didn't get to see, There seems to be a hint when he's in his office and the camera slowly pans around his office at all the little things he's got in his office. There was something that says Jamie Tart says farewell to Richmond. And I'm like, oh, so are we not going to get Jamie Tart this year for this season?
No, that actor's busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's known.
Yeah. It's probably known that he's busy. So, yeah. But yeah, that was an interesting moment because he was still part of the team at the end of season 3. So, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of I enjoyed the hell out of it. An adventure in America, in some ways. In Kansas City, which isn't in Kansas, and it kept confusing them.
That was a fun piece of business.
Yeah, actually, Kansas is right across the street over there. We're not in Kansas.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, at least we have the good grace to call it West Wendover. That's all or East Wendover. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I like a lot the food positivity that they have, because in so many shows you see, well, one, usually nobody eating, or if they do, it's light and sparingly, but you get to see Rebecca eat like people.
Nice.
Yep.
And it's a small thing for a lot.
It's a
of
running
people.
gag, and it's delightful.
Yeah, but she's always like, no biscuits, and then eats the biscuits, and like that, and the kebab scene, where they brought all the kebabs back from Nate's work and stuff like that, and you just see her eat, and you see her eat with an appetite, and she doesn't talk about dieting, and she doesn't talk about her figure and all of that, and I think it's a very subtle but piece of anti-misogyny. And so her constantly having issues with the food throughout the episode just delighted me, because that's a piece of unstated business from the first 3 that I liked. I liked him in Kansas City. When Ted goes for his drive, again, trying really hard not to drop any spoilers, and they see all the iconic buildings of KC and all that. Somebody's like, no, he's like, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. It moved me. And then I'm like, I got to map this. And he shows him where Ted would have to drive to hit all those. Fucking everywhere. Big loops and swirls and everything.
Yeah.
And it'd
Just
take
to see
him
all that.
3 hours to do it.
He had a lot to think about. It was a long drive.
Yeah.
He got a little distracted, got turned around in a couple of places. Yeah.
I like the new actor for Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a problem with the old Henry. The new Henry has to play soccer at an accelerated level. So the kid, his name was Gus Turner. That's the original Henry. Has also been doing other things. He was in Loki. He was in East of Eden. He was invited to audition for the role, but again, it went to this other kid because this other kid apparently is a fucking soccer phenom, and that's important. I just did. It felt a little more structured than I'm used to, because they're bringing everybody back, and there were little bits in there that, as a writer, they did to cut down episode time. Like, okay, everybody, 10 seconds. What have you been up to for the last 2 years? And don't talk about work. And it's like, boom, piece of business, everything handled in the first 45 seconds, and then we just get to move on. So I did. I really enjoyed it and felt like I deserved a double episode drop there as well.
I really wanted a double episode drop. That was my biggest takeaway from it. Was I loved every second of it. I loved Higgins at the baseball museum.
Yeah, that was fun.
I loved every second of it, and then at the same time, I was like, I need another episode. I want to see all the stuff you promised. Some of the other moments you've promised me in the trailer that I know will be in episode 2. So that was why I wanted episode 2. That was all. That was the only reason I wanted episode 2. Strange New Worlds. We actually got 2 episodes because we missed last week, recording last week. So we had the Grissom episode. Yes. So you're just catching up on this season, Joce. Basically, they're doing movies this season, from what I can tell.
Okay.
So episode 1 was Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Episode 2 was Event Horizon.
Okay.
Ironically, both Sam Neill movies. And then episode 3, pretty clearly, The Hangover.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was doing Dude, Where's My Shuttle?
Yeah, that too. I think they mixed the 2 of them together. because it was the hangover. There was so many hangover moments, and Dude, Where's My Car was mixed in there as well. Yeah, I mean, it was so funny, and it was good to have just a funny fucking episode. In fact, I think through the very beginning, I was kind of watching it with like what the fuck is going on? What is this? What the hell are you doing? And then I realized you put the hangover in here, and you did it because you just put us through fucking Event Horizon.
Oh my God, that one was terrifying.
And
it was terrifying.
And it was like one Tiffany should not watch because it was so gory. Yeah. I mean,
it's okay. It's sci-fi. She's really not watching it anyway. It's basketball.
Yeah, true. I mean, Sam Kirk. I mean, and oh God. I mean, all of it was just
so much.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Little Easter egg though, and you probably missed it. I missed it until they pointed it out on Trek Culture. When Kirk opened his bag to get out that giant flashlight, that I'm like, I have a headlamp this big that is rechargeable that puts out as much light as your fucking giant flashlights you're carrying around. Why does Starfleet always issue these giant flashlights? But anyway, he pulled that flashlight out of his backpack. Not only did the little robot fall out, but a book he was reading fell out because Kirk has always been established as a bookworm.
Mm-hmm.
And the book that fell out, they zoomed in on it and showed it on Trek Culture because, this is high def television. We can see what the title was. It's Master and Commander.
Wow.
He was reading Master and Commander. So I was like, two characters based on Horatio Hornblower, basically, because O'Brien based his main captain on Horatio Hornblower, just like Kirk was based on Horatio Hornblower by Gene Roddenberry. So yeah, I thought that was awesome. I'm like, well, of course he's going to get that. It's just like him. Yeah, that was, oh my God, that Event Horizon episode was great. And I was laughing at the end. Not in a, oh my God, that was so ridiculous and funny. It was I laugh at that stuff in horror movies when that happens because it just makes me so happy.
Fair.
When she put her finger up to her mouth and said "shh" at the end, I just started laughing. I was like, I love this. This is so cool. I was like, that was the most perfect ending, and everybody else is freaking out in the room, and I'm just like, because I just love it so much. I tend to laugh a lot at horror movies because I know it ain't real, and so I want to see the tropes get played toward what I want them to be. And when they are that, I just have such a great fucking time.
On that vein, one of my favorite horror movies, and I don't watch a lot of horror movies, is Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Because
God, yeah.
It exploits the tropes on purpose and out loud.
And it's so much fun.
Yeah,
I love that movie so much.
That's a really fun movie. Well, great.
The zombie just randomly walking across the back in the background was just delightful to me. I mean, all these little moments throughout, I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is so much fun. So yes. Only problem anybody found, and I agreed with Trek Culture on this, it's like, why are they in the same uniform? Why is this ghost ship in the same uniforms that the current Enterprise crew is in? I'm like, you can go raid the costume department from Discovery. There's probably the old Discovery costumes you could have put them in because that would have been more appropriate. But they had to put them in the red and gold costumes, and I'm like, or it could just be, it's all in somebody's head, and she's only going to see it from one point of view. So yeah, but The Hangover was awesome. All right. Let's talk about Spitterman. Brand new day.
Spoiler free, though, right?
Without dropping spoilers.
Gah.
Speaking of spoiler, the entire movie, they had me faked out. We'll talk about this in Patreon, but I had it in my head who the villain was, who the bad guy was. I'm like, there's only one person who can do this in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, blah, 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 blah. It's in my head the whole time. And they talked about casting somebody in that role, blah, 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 blah. They get to the reveal. I'm like, oh, fuck. I was so wrong. And I had told people that's not going to be the case when this other person was cast. They're like, oh, they're going to play this part. And I'm like, no, they're not. Why would they play that part? So, for those who remember me saying that, I admit I'm wrong, and I apologize for making you feel like you weren't smart or something, because you got it right. Let me get your takes on it before I give you mine.
I was going to say, spoiler-free take is, oh my God, go see it. I can't wait. I'm honestly going to see it in a few hours again in theaters.
Nice.
And I cannot wait. I'm so excited because it was so good. It was so good. I don't know how to talk about it, though, without spoiling it. What do you think, Jeff?
The reveal made me squee and clap, and then look over to a completely non-comprehending wife. And I'm like, do you want me to explain it? She's like, no, I do not. And I'm like, okay. Her opinion on the movie was the first half was pretty slow, but the second half was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I enjoyed the first half and will admit that I was more excited during the second half. I mean, she had a point, but all that setup business that they do for the dork crowd, we love it. It's all
that was full fan service. 100%.
Yeah, it really was. More to your point, there were a lot of castings in this that make you think A, B, or C, and then those castings pop up on screen for a minute or two, and you're just, oh, okay, the trailers faked me out. I love that. I love going in and everything being surprising. John Barenthal as the Punisher in this one is probably my favorite of him so far.
Yes. Yes.
Just a delight. And we'll talk about it in Patreon, but I figured out where they cut the scene with Rosario Dawson.
Same.
For this one.
I did too.
She filmed for this one as well. So, no, it was just fucking fun. I had a great time. I want to go back and see it again, but there's another movie coming out at the end of August that for the life of me, I'm drawing a blank on today. I'm really brain stupid today because math has just caused everything to go melty. What is coming out on August 28th? It was something important that I wanted to see. Anyway, great fucking movie. I'm going to watch it again and again. I liked this one more than I've liked the previous three, and I love the previous three.
Right. Same.
My take on this was the most like reading a Spider-Man comic book. And by Spider-Man comic book, I mean a very specific Spider-Man comic book title, one that has been kind of pushed aside over the last, we've talked about it a few times that it would be great if this kind of book would come back, but it really doesn't work in the new comic book era. And that was Marvel Team Up. That was a Spider-Man series where Spider-Man would team up with other superheroes to fight a bad guy. This was Marvel Team Up. And the main reason I say this was Marvel Team Up is because there was a character in Marvel Team Up who was there specifically to set the two characters up to do things, and that was Captain DeWolf. When Captain DeWolf was introduced, she was introduced first in Marvel Team Up. And I'm like, and when the first time he talks to Captain DeWolf on the phone, I was like, oh, we get Captain DeWolf? And I'd forgotten that she had only ever really appeared in Marvel Team-Ups.
Oh, okay.
And all the way through the 70s, and then they killed her off in the 80s. Because why wouldn't you just kill off the most important character in Spider-Man's world to make his life suck again? So, yeah, it was so cool to see that. And I mean, the homages to covers. We get the cover from Amazing Fantasy number 15 in like the first opening five seconds of the movie. We get him swinging with the bad guy in his arm. We get that shot of it was a cover of him fighting Tarantula, and we get that shot. We get the shot of him against the Hulk, and I don't remember if that was a cover of a comic book or just a poster somebody put out.
Yeah,
but they recreated it perfectly on the screen, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking cool!" It was, as I said to Jeff, it was fan service, pure fan service. The opening parts, and even all the way up through, there was so much fan service as we went along.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I could not. This movie was so good. There's so many little pieces that I was like, squealing as these little things would pop out. I had like a seat between me on either side and then people. So I'm sure I was the giggly one, that they were like, what's up with this guy? But I was having such a great fun. And I didn't have anybody next to me I could make, snarky comments to or anything. So it's like, all right, we'll do it. But yeah, it was, oh my God, such a great film. Loved it. Go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, do we have time for the first story or any of the stories?
Yeah, absolutely do not. Those all need to bump to Patreon.
Okay, well, we're going to go over to Patreon now at patreon.com/defendmedia. Every week we give you extra content, and the content is always top notch. Results may vary, of course. This week we are going to talk further about Spider-Man Brand New Day, and we are going to hit the spoilers. So be ready for that. If you haven't seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, you may want to see it before you listen to ours. Unless you don't give a shit about spoilers and you just want to hear our full take on it, then enjoy. But we're going to talk about some additional stories that we're not going to get to here. What was Spider-Man's opening weekend like? Some stuff involving Star Trek. And Paramount basically turning down a reason to print money, in my opinion. And how the use of the spoiler is very important in this. So all of that and more on Patreon at patreon.com/defendmedia. Remember, this is Defend Media Patreon, so you don't just get our Patreon. You get all the other shows as well. The Patreons from all the other shows, all the extra content. So join us, please. And for those of us who are watching us on YouTube, hi! So good to see you. I'm so glad you came here. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And that is it. So I will say, as I always do, until Whiplash comes back, make mine Marvel.
For Hell's Kitchen.
For Stan.
For Asgard.